Well, first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find.
What's going on, y'all? Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's had a great weekend, off to a great work week. It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk. This is the final episode of season 9, episode 27. If I'm saying that correctly, cannot believe that. Got to the end of season 9 already. In this video, we are strictly talking the end of the regular season for the Washington Mystics as we get ready for playoffs this week. Episode 1, season 10, that'll go live soon. So be tuned in for that. Good morning, Sean. Good to see you. Good morning. Before we get into it, there's a few things I want to say up front. I was supposed to do this video live last night, and that did not happen because I was just a little tired from yesterday. So it's all good. Like I said, the season 10, episode 1, that will be up about 11 o'clock. That's the time it'll go live. Today, the Washington Mystics have a post-practice media availability call, and then they'll go to Seattle. They leave today for Seattle. Tonight, actually. They leave for Seattle because the first 2 games are hosted because of the playoff format. You're not guaranteed if you're the lower seed. You're not guaranteed a home game. So we have to split one in Seattle to have the other game, game 3 here in the first round. This is how the first round of the playoffs are set up. So the Washington Mystics finished the regular season on a good note. The last 2 games were against an Indiana Fever team that's young, that's very fiery, that's competitive, that's still trying to figure out what their identity is as a cohesive unit. We faced the Indiana Fever Friday, and also Sunday. That was our final home game. I was in attendance. It was fan appreciation night Sunday afternoon. Great energy at the Entertainment Sports and Arena. It was great to see many people there. I got a poster to take home. They gave out posters. No, I didn't win any autographed, like an autographed picture or anything like that. I don't know how they do that, but yeah. I mean, other than that, there really isn't really much to say. I mean, with Indiana Fever, I mean, I'll start with Friday's game. We were actually in Indiana. They played at Hinckley Fieldhouse because their current arena where they play at and also where the Pacers play, for some reason, every summer they have to remodel the Gainbridge's Fieldhouse. So they played at the home of Butler University's basketball team. They played there. Hinckley, we all know, is a historical landmark in Indiana, but I'm like every summer, like it's always like the last one or 2 weeks of the season for Indiana, they have to play somewhere else. I've never understood that. So, I mean, a couple things taken in consideration. Aisha Hines did not play Friday because she had to go into health and safety protocols. She has to get 2 negative tests before she's able to rejoin the team. So hold on for that thought. We did sign Jasmine Jones. we did have enough cap in the salary cap to fill a complete 12, which was kind of weird. We waited till this long in the season to do that. I felt like we had the money to do it probably after All-Star break, but some things worked out, but that's okay. Um, I mean, when I looked at this series after watching them perform against Chicago and then the Los Angeles Sparks, I felt like this is a refresher. And I had mentioned this on the Keeping It 9450 Women's Basketball Network as well. And okay, you're going up against an Indiana Fever team that's honestly just at this point playing for pride. But more importantly, I think the Mystics needed to use this series to get themselves back into the realm of things before playoffs. So what we're going to do is I'm going to play you some tape of pregame for the Indiana Fever Friday, and then we're going to start off. We're going to break the game down. So let's listen.
Even I remember Ariel talking about, and you may have mentioned it as well, just kind of diversifying her shot selection and really, making her into that 3-level scorer. And that was going to be kind of a process for her. Looking back over the season, like how do you think she's taken that next step in her development?
My bad, ladies and gentlemen. I clicked the wrong button. Okay, here we go. That's better. Sorry.
I mean, I don't know what this weekend will do as far as seeding, but it can certainly help us with confidence in how we're playing. We'd like to go into the playoffs on a higher note, and last weekend was disappointing. And just the focus they've had all week in film sessions and practice has helped us get better, a little bit better each day, I think.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Yep.
Nathan?
Hey, Coach. Happy Friday. Congratulations on the lottery pick.
Thank you.
The piggyback on Wayne's question, after Chicago and Los Angeles, those games, do you feel like with the little break in the schedule, practice, do you feel like this series is like a refresher for the team?
I don't know. I think it's just a way to get back to feeling good about yourself. If that's refresher, maybe. It's given us a couple days to refocus on the things that are important, to understand that you can't slip up on some little things. I thought that we were really late on a lot of things defensively last weekend. The 2 games were different last weekend. I mean, we played Chicago without Elena, and they were playing at a high level, and we basically stunk for about a half. And then I thought on Sunday our defense was good for stretches, but then we would have some breakdowns. But we were bad again offensively. We're holding teams into the 70s again, but we just aren't as efficient as I think we can be offensively. And we weren't. I don't think in the LA game we recognized some of the opportunities that were there for us. So we watched a lot of film this week.
Good luck today. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm muted. I'm so sorry. I apologize for that. As I was saying, Friday, I mean, the game in the first quarter, for example, Emma Cannon led all scorers for both teams with 12 points. Your leading scorer throughout the game was Emily Ingsler with 18 points. Queenie Negro didn't play. She was supposed to start in that game in Friday's game, but apparently she injured her knee pregame, so she didn't play. Kelsey Mitchell's out for the season, and they shut Danielle Robinson down for the rest of the season as of Friday because of her shoulder. So they were riding 9 players the whole game. I mean, other than, there were 2 lead changes. 5 lead changes, 2 ties. The biggest lead Indiana had throughout the game was just a measly 2 points compared to us. I'm sorry. Thank you. I apologize. Other than that, it wasn't really much. It really wasn't much. The only thing I can really take away from the game is that I know we got to work better on the defense side of the ball in terms of 3-point shooting. We allowed them to shoot 42%, which was okay. We still got to work on ourselves offensively. We shot 21% from 3. That can happen against a team like Seattle in the playoffs. You got a 1 for 5, 0 for 4, 0 for 3, 0 for 2, like that. That really can't happen down the stretch. So, other than that, there really wasn't much to take from the game. Only thing I will say is that Elena Deladon did lead the team with 24 points. That's really the positive in the game. And then the only other person had was in double figures, Elizabeth Williams. Everybody else, where you been hiding, man? It's my first time on your channel. You know, you're talking about the WNBA. Yes, sir, I am. Yes, sir. Other than that, everybody for I don't know. I couldn't really figure out like why the only starter was double figures and everybody had triple singles. I really wasn't understanding that. I will say that Indiana as a cohesive unit defensively, I think I gotta give Carlos Knox his credit. He really is a defensive-minded coach. They're really trying to build some things. I see the potential with it, especially you got an assistant coach like Gary Kloppenberg, who for many years in Seattle was probably one of the best defensive-minded coaches. So you can see a lot of what he implemented in Seattle. You can definitely see it implemented in Indiana. But again, they're young. So give it time, and I think this Fever team will definitely get together. But that was really the only thing. The thing is also too, we did as a Washington Mystics, we have another lottery pick for next year's draft. I appreciate you. Thank you. You were gonna say I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Welcome to the channel, man. Really appreciate it. Much love. I appreciate you. I really do. The Washington is another lottery pick for next year's draft because if you remember when last year we had the number 1 overall pick and we traded it to Atlanta, the Atlanta Dream. The number 1 overall pick turned out to be Ryan Howard. We traded down for the number 3 pick, and we also had the 14th overall pick. We had drafted Shakira Austin and Kristen Williams at the UConn. In that trade, we swapped the Sparks first round pick, which was included in that deal. The Atlanta Dream, unfortunately, did not make the playoffs. And also, too, Derek Fisher, the Sparks did not make the playoffs. So we have a top 4 pick for next year's draft. I'm super excited. I don't know who that would be at the moment. I did see an early mock draft. The fact that they had Haley Jones as a top and as not even in the top two, that's very, very weird. I don't know what you're watching. Haley Jones, and it's going to be Leah Boston and Haley Jones as the top two, in my personal opinion. They're the top two picks for next year's WNBA draft. Had Ashley, no disrespect to Ashley Jones, great forward. Ahead of Haley Jones, come on now, what are we watching? That's just me. I mean, other than that, there really wasn't much going on in this game. So let's just hear some post game from Coach T, and then we're going to get into the next game, which was the game that I was at Sunday.
That's good. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I know you want to kind of get back on track after those last two losses. Did you feel that you guys were back playing the way that you want to see them?
I think we were better. I don't think we maximized some opportunities tonight. We did a good job of getting offensive boards, but we didn't cash in on them. We got 11 offensive boards. We only scored, I think, 6 points off of it. We shot better as the game went along. I mean, one of the good things tonight is we had a ton of assists. I mean, 25 assists on 31 baskets. The ball was moving pretty well. We didn't shoot it well from three. I'd like that to be better. But the other half of it is we did get to the free throw line a little bit more tonight. So there was some things that I thought we could be better at. Defensively, I mean, we were pretty good for most of the game. A few stretches that we let down a little bit, but again, we're holding a team, to 70 points, and that's always a good thing for us.
Lots of people in the mix today, got some good production off the bench, very balanced scoring. How nice is it to kind of get that bench mouth going a little bit again, especially Elizabeth? Yeah,
I mean, we were intentional a little bit about trying to get her some touches tonight. Trying to get her and Tiana involved in the offense. Tori got some good looks, didn't knock down her other shots, but got herself to the free throw line by attacking. So, we're going to need that, when you can get, I don't know, what do we get close to 24, 5, 6 points off the bench? That's nice.
And just one last thing, I know you probably a few more too many turnovers for your liking, but you guys scored off a lot of theirs.
Yeah, we forced more turnovers tonight. Our turnovers were kind of, at least a couple of them were dead ball turnovers, so they weren't running it back at us. And we hustled back a couple times and, turned it back over to them. But, I think we're going to need to be in that 12 or 13 turnover area to win playoff games, especially against a team like Seattle. They're going to be a low turnover team too. So seems like when we play them, both teams have done a good job of taking care of the ball. We got to do a better job on Sunday.
All for me, thank you.
Want to keep that energy and keep that mindset and make sure that everyone is as involved as possible.
Cool. Good thing easy from me.
Shatori, would you like to ask a question? I knew that would get around.
Yeah, so that pretty much has been the that was pretty much it Friday. Liberty have been my team since Becky Hammond entered the league. Shout out to Becky Hammond, on the Liberty. That's still my team. Hey, listen, I got the preview for the WNBA playoffs. That's going to go on live in a little bit. Stay tuned in for that. I definitely got some things to say about that. Part of me wants to see her in WNBA finals too. A part of me actually wanted to see Sylvia Fowles in the playoffs, but the team had other plans, unfortunately. But no, those are just things we got to clean up. And Sunday, as I stated, I was at this game. There was a final home game for the Washington Mystics for the playoffs. Couple things. I was kind of surprised that he was actually going to have the starters out there. He did say everybody was going to get minutes. You were going to see more of the bench in there. kind of, I'll be honest, Natasha Cloud got hurt. She injured her knee. It was on a possession. I think she was going at the rim, and she kind of landed on her knee awkwardly. And then kind of you heard the ESA get really quiet. But he just said she was sore. So those are things that he wants to not happen. So he just pulled the plug on her. She didn't play in the second half at all after she went down. For the most after that. Game 2, I didn't really expect much. I expected some things to be cleaned up on offense. Still, the biggest lead Indiana had in that game Sunday was 5 points. The leading scorer was Tiffany Mitchell with 18. Emma Cannon had 14. Lexi Hall had 11 points. And everybody else had triple singles. They shot 57% from the field. They shot 61.5% from three. That was really kind of a glaring issue. The communication. We were letting them really get some threes that I know that we could, if you take them off the line, like they've got some shooters. Again, Emma Cannon can shoot, Lexi Hall, Tiffany Mitchell, Victoria Vivians, they can all shoot, but they only took 13 threes. That was the only interesting thing. I'm like, they made eight out of the 13 threes. The fouls, they got in a lot of foul trouble. And a lot of it, too, understand they are a young team. So there's going to be moments where you're going to have a player with 4 or more fouls. And look at this box score. They definitely did have that. For the Washington Mystics, we finished off on a good note. Elena Deladon once again led the team 8 of 13, 4 of 5, 22 points. I need to see Alicia Clark get just a little bit more involved in the offense. She had 8 points, but she's more of a defensive-minded wing player first, second, and then 3-point take it to the rim second. That's how I've always seen her, even when she was in Seattle. Tiana Hawkins really stepped in there, really big. Had got some really great minutes off the bench. She made a couple threes. She was really good on the defensive side. There's a couple fouls that were called on her that are really questionable. Even Jasmine Jones got in there. So, this is nothing to play for. I think it's just like Coach T said, if you heard it, and the question I asked him in the previous from Friday, just feel good about yourself. And especially when this Mystic team has been dealing with a lot this whole season. You didn't have Alicia Clark for probably the first month and a half because of her foot injury, recovering from her foot injury. Elena, in and out the lineup because of her, of the scheduled rest days of her back. You've had dealt with COVID, a couple injuries. So it's interesting to really see how this Mystic team has persevered, and how they just stayed the course. I'll be honest, I had concerns throughout the whole year of how this team would look, especially with Elena not playing every game. Ariel Atkins surpassed 2,000 points Sunday. And also too, she got her Olympic ring. I'm like, at this point in the season, I thought they would have got it like before All-Star break, but a lot of it is just that was a good milestone. Maisha Hines-Allen did get her second negative test, and I can officially say that she is good to go for the playoffs. She was on Natasha Cloud's Instagram on IG Live yesterday, and they were celebrating it that she's negative and she's going to join the team. So she's actually going to be in the post practice call today for the Mystics. So she said, Coach C said she only had mild symptoms, but other than that, she should be good. So she'll probably just, for now, work on her conditioning and keep it moving. Now, he did say as of yesterday, they're going to work on film, and they'll have a morning session Tuesday as their primary practice before flying. I think they leave tonight. If it's not like about, I want to say 6 or 7 o'clock, they'll leave for Seattle, and then they'll practice Wednesday because the first game for us is 10. It's 10 p.m. for us, and it's 7 for them Thursday. So, other than that, I mean, look, I'll say this for Sunday's game. Indiana turned the ball over 19 times on 14 steals. 19 of those turnovers were 14 steals. Shatoya Walker Kimbrough had 5 steals. Natasha Cloud as of today, is your league leading assist leader with 7 assists a game. Shakira Austin, she tied Shamik Holsclaw for the most rebounds as a Mystic. I was really surprised. I thought she would have snapped that streak, but I could see her doing it next season. So, I mean, other than the ESA, the energy was great. Great to see again. Great to see many people there. Had a great time. I tell people this all the time: just go to one game. Just watch a game. I don't really understand this whole idea of nobody watches the W when that's complete BS. That narrative is old. You know, when you look at the W, nobody is going to talk about the fact that Elena Deladon this is another consecutive season where she's in the 50, 40, 90 club. You know, that's amongst elite company of basketball. Nobody will talk about how, for a whole decade, the Minnesota Lynx were the definition of what a dynasty looked like up until Sunday and didn't make the playoffs. We don't give them their flowers the way we should. This just because they don't dunk or they're not. It's not like the NBA. I'll be honest. They play the game, if not 3 times better than the NBA. I tell people that all the time. It's just one game. Just watch it. There's nothing wrong with it. Go into the game. I mean, the fans are great. The players are great. Sometimes I will be honest, it is interesting. They are sometimes kind of closed-minded. Like yesterday, Liz Cambage made a post regarding what's been going on this whole season. She's taking time for herself, and she will come out at a later date about all the things that have transpired with her involvement with the whole Team Nigeria incident, leaving the Sparks abruptly. Yeah, so it's been interesting with that. But let me get into the pregame and the postgame, and then we're going to end it there.
So does that change your minutes or rotation at all today?
Maybe. I want to win the game, so that's the first order of business. I think we need psychologically, I think it's good to feel good about yourself going into the playoffs, especially with people who have been in and out of the lineup, and Elena trying to keep her rhythm a little bit right now. I don't want to play anybody huge minutes if I don't have to, but I still want to play with some intensity and some, I've talked to our team about playoff habits. I thought we were okay the other night, but I don't think we were great by any means. And I think we need to play with a lot more intention to what we do. So that's going to be how I decide what we do today.
So one last one for me. Any update on Maisha?
She had a negative test, and if has another negative one, she will be able to come back in the building, possibly later today. We won't suit her up if she's here, but she would be able to practice then getting ready for Seattle. So hopefully she has another negative test.
Thank you.
So that first negative was yesterday, and then she's testing again today. Is that
Testing again today.
So you're feeling pretty good to still be in shape and ready to go for Thursday?
Yeah, I would hope so. She didn't have a lot of symptoms at all. Very mild, so. Guess what the first question is?
What's up?
I don't know. Precautionary more than anything. Took a hit. You saw the one play. Guess what the first question is?
What's up?
I don't know. Precautionary more than anything. Took a hit. You saw the one play and she was already sore before that and shut it down. So we'll see more tomorrow or Tuesday where she is with it. We're not going to do anything on the court tomorrow anyway. So all of them have kind of a maintenance day and film day tomorrow. So, I don't have any answers beyond that. So,
It didn't look bad too.
I mean, she's pretty sore. So I don't know. We'll see.
Said beforehand, you wanted to, get everybody good minutes so you could see, find a rhythm and all that kind of stuff. Did you see that today?
Yeah, I mean, we had an offensive rhythm. I thought our defense was in streaks. I mean, they scored, in bunches, and then they didn't score for like 3 minutes, and then we turn it over and we foul or whatever. I mean, it was a choppy game in that regard. I mean, there's 50 something free throw shot in the game, so and we played them the other night, and I think there was about 18 free throws shot between the two teams. So it was a different game. But offensively, I thought we did a lot of good things. I mean, we moved the basketball. We had 20 plus assists again. Our turnover number was low. It just, they had points off of them. So there was good stuff. I mean, not perfect, but good. And, if it had been a regular game, some people would have played more. And so that's where we are.
And just one last thing, can you remind us of what your schedule will be like for the next 3 days?
Yeah, tomorrow we won't do anything on the court. Tuesday will be kind of our primary practice day before we fly. We'll fly Tuesday night, and then we'll practice out there on Wednesday.
Well, that's defense, season high steals for Shatori. And I'm just curious, how has her defense changed or improved from the first time that she was in?
I don't know that. I mean, she's always been a person that had great anticipation for steals. She can get out and be aggressive. She's great in passing lanes. But I think she's playing with some defensive players around her that help her, kind of gamble a little bit. They know they can protect each other. And she just has really good anticipation in passing lanes and just more minutes. I mean, more than anything else, the more you play and the more you get a chance to do stuff, the more consistent you become. And I think that's been a big part of it for her this year.
Last two going into the class, where do you think you guys are going this season?
It's funny. I was just talking to our team about, how evenly matched this series is in statistical things. I mean, they have the advantage in a 2-1 series, and it was decided on a last possession in the second time we played them. So, we're similar teams defensively in how we try to, be aggressive. They probably have a little more experience than us, in their starting lineup as far as, just number of playoff games. They shoot the ball a little bit better than us, but I think they've been more consistent from the 3-point line than us. And we've been a little bit more consistent with rebounding and defense. And so it's going to come down, what I told our team is going to come down to little things, careless possessions, locking in, when you're playing a team with great players, you're not going to stop them, but can you make them uncomfortable and do things they don't want to do first? I think that's the difference in a series sometimes. And then who makes, critical right decisions, not passing into a crowd when you don't have to, not, hanging your head on a play and getting beat back in transition, because that one play can turn a game. And so, it's those kinds of things. It's a pretty dead even series in a lot of ways.
Really quick, I just wanted to say I agreed a little bit what he said about Seattle. I mean, you still have, I mean, 4/5 of your starting lineup have been in that position. I do think I think it's more of just the chemistry when you haven't played together. That starting five with Natasha Cloud, Ariel Atkins, Elaine Deladon, Alicia Clark, and Shakira Austin. I think it was, I can't remember what game it was, but I think when Alicia finally came back, when she was ready to come off, when she came back from injury, they had only played a total of 35 minutes together. That was an alarming statistic. I said, they hadn't played that much. Yes, Seattle's a better 3-point shooting team, but their bench is not as deep. It's not as reliable as Washington's bench is. Those are the only really two distinctions that I will say I have seen from afar. But here's Shakira, Tiana, and Ariel in the post game. Just gonna play a little bit of it, and we're gonna end the episode.
What was different?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. I just think we did a better job of actually talking this game and trying to be intentional about what we're doing, which is something that we've been trying to do all season, trying to be more consistent at it. And I think we did a better job of it today.
And just, what's the feel now? You guys accomplished what you want. This is the goal. You're going to the postseason now. Obviously playing with a team that's very closely matched to y'all. What's the feel going into the postseason?
We feel great, of course, to be in this position, but we know that it's going to be a tough series, and we just got to take it one game at a time, and know that it's going to be a fight.
Ariel, congratulations to the 2000 point.
Thank you.
Girl.
Thanks, guys.
What was fearless, not afraid to take that big shot? Looking back at 2,000 points in your career, thinking about that comment from coach, what does this moment mean for you?
It means a lot. I didn't really know where my place would be in this league. It's a very hard league to not only be a part of, but to stay in. And so to be a part of an organization like DC from the jump is a blessing. Like, I've had great vets, like, truly help me out. One of them's right here. But they were very welcoming for me from the beginning. And I think I've said it time and time again, like, I've been allowed to grow here. And so anytime I reach any milestone, big or small, I'm just thankful to have been able to enter the league in such a great space. And so, yeah.
And then for your teammates, what do you have to say about Ariel's 2000 point?
Oh, wow.
What she's meant with the team?
Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thanks to you.
No, but that just speaks volume how talented Ariel is. She can score at all levels. She's not afraid to take the tough shots or the shots at the end of the clock. She's always confident, and that's just something that we need. And that's been a huge part of our success this season and previous seasons.
What is going through your mind having the opportunity to go to the playoffs or
Oh, yeah, really?
It's lit.
Damn.
It's lit. No, I'm excited. A little bit of nerves coming, but the team is gonna, prepare us to the best that they can. So, I'm just excited.
And for anybody else, do you think the change in the playoff format with the first round not being in the late elimination anymore is beneficial?
I don't know beneficial, but I like it the way it is right now with the series. Just because we get a chance to play a series, and if it comes down to one possession and you're out of the playoffs. So just having not really a buffer, but just having that series, that each game is going to be different. So it gives us an opportunity to stay in the playoffs.
Yes, I agree. Gives you an opportunity to be in the playoffs. And I'm actually scared, to be honest, because 3 games, I could have seen if it was like 5, but that 3-game series in the first round is actually going to be lit, to be honest with you. I'll be definitely tuned in for it because it's definitely going to be a good series. I think that arguably Washington and Seattle definitely that's going to be a good matchup for sure. But that's going to end the episode. That's going to conclude season 9 of Big Nate Sports Talk podcast. I can't believe we really got this season 9 seasons. Finished 9 seasons and we're on to season 10. I cannot believe that. Ladies and gentlemen, be tuned in for future episodes. The season 10, episode 1, WNBA playoff preview, that'll start in a little while. Actually, I have that going about 11 o'clock, 11:15, so be tuned in for that. Really quick closing message. I got to give a shout out to a couple people. Wayne Cole, Kareem Copeland, Matt Corral, Jen Hetfield, and a couple other people. If I forgot, Shibata from Japan, Patrick Waring, Christy Witherscott. We've all been a part of covering the Washington Mystics this whole season. I got to meet Wayne and Kareem, and Jen, and Matt at the Mystic game Sunday. So we talked for a few minutes. It was really great to really talk. And they just saying, well, how do you like it so far? Definitely keep doing what you're doing. It was interesting. Wayne was like, he's like, I'm happy to see young guys, especially like young black men like yourself, really wanting to invest in the WNBA, and really, not just that, but from a journalistic perspective, wanting to cover it. So he said much flowers to you. I definitely said that all of them really kept saying, just stay the course. They're actually trying to get me to meet those in the PR, but they were not where they're sitting. They weren't down at the court side, so it's okay, no big deal. But my goal for next season is definitely go to more games. But the coverage doesn't stop, well, regardless. But unfortunately, once the season's over, we move on to football. It's been fun hanging with those guys. I learned a lot from them. Still learning a lot. But it was just really good to chop it up with them. So I wanted to give them a shout out. But lastly, man, it's been a great regular season. It's been some ups and downs, but I am very proud of this team. They've really stayed the course. We all have moments in the season. The 36 games, the deal with travel issues. The first third of the season, we played an immense amount of games. Back-to-backs. On the road. That's a lot of wear and tear on you as a person. And there were good games, there were bad games, but the one thing I will always say about the Washington Mystics, they always stay cool, calm, and collective. And I cannot wait for them in the playoffs Thursday against Seattle. It's going to be a great first round matchup. But again, I think a lot of it also too is, I keep saying I'll keep harping back onto it. Just watch a game, y'all. Just even if you just go to a game, perception is reality, but sometimes you really have to see it for yourself before you allow outside people who don't watch the game or just don't appreciate it. Like, to see like where this team has been these past couple years from the bubble, really since 2019, the bubble, which everybody likes to disqualify, like it didn't count, which is weird to me. Losing the first round to Phoenix. And then the next year, you didn't have Elena Deladon practically the whole season. You had Tina Charles, but the team was dealing with injuries and just mildly inconsistent. To this year, figuring out, is the team going to rebuild? Like, what are we going to do? And then just see, like, there's just been this plan. It's just about staying, like I said, poised and staying cool, calm, and collective. And I think a lot of that you give credit to Mike Tebow and the coaching staff and what they've done. So whether people like it or not, I've said this before, I'm going to continue to cover the Washington Mystics and talk about the WNBA. That's not just the women's college basketball. That's what I'm going to continue to do. That's not, I will not shut up and talk football or basketball or NBA. I will that's what I love. This is what I love to do. This is a passion. You know, I appreciate the new sub. Really do. Where you hiding? I really do appreciate that. Because not a lot of people will give me I get those kind of compliments. I really do appreciate that. But for those that don't like it, I have this to say for you.
But one thing I do want to say is that y'all can kiss my ass and everybody ass.
Yeah. So with that being said, that's going to conclude the episode. I will see y'all in season 10. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast. Also check me out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I'd really appreciate it if you guys would leave a review. It helps me, helps the podcast, helps this YouTube channel grow. Until then, I will catch you guys on the flip side.
But I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. Thanks for the kind words. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk.